escaping the shadows. I know it's hard to put one foot in front of the other.
Hi guys, welcome to the channel. CeeChronicles here. I post fragrance related content and would very much appreciate you joining the family. To those who are returning, thank you so much for coming back. Do remember guys that I do have a playlist in case you're interested in more Middle Eastern reviews. If you go on my page, you can check out my playlist and you can go to other older videos that may be useful. Now today I have these fragrances in front of me, which is the Liquid Brun by French Avenue, Althair 2 by Lattafa, going for the Althair DNA. Now, when it comes to my Althair, this is just a 5 ml, but I do have an experience with this fragrance, guys, because if you watch my second channel, CeeChronicles Unscripted, you'll know that there was a little bit of an obsession there where I was thinking whether I should buy the fragrance, and I kept on, going back to the store and spraying it and stuff. So I do have some experience besides just this. So I am here to compare both fragrances, which is Althair 2 by Lattafa, as well as French Avenue Liquid Brun, both going for the Althair DNA by Parfums de Mali, or at least they smell a lot like that. I'm going to start, of course, with Althair 2. This is a fragrance that I've had in my collection for a while, so I do have some knowledge of the fragrance, but I'm just going to reference this piece of it. Opens up, guys, with like a fruity wrap up. The fruitiness is very temporary when it comes to this, and it's not the sort of fruitiness that you can, let's say, extract to say, okay, this fruitiness is this per se. It's going to have a little bit of a citrusy undertone, just a little bit, not enough to cross over to fresh, and then it gradually introduces like a semi-spicy tone, carrying a sweetness there. The spiciness could be cinnamon and a mix of other spices, so that is what it then introduces, and then transitions into what is a woody scent with a faint earthy feel. That faint earthy feel is coming in from the weight of the olibanum, but it's not enough to call this a scent that is crossing over to like a damp earthy feel, that sort of thing. That is not what I get. This fragrance, it has a lot of notes, but all the notes are in tandem, they are in sync. All right, it is one of those fragrances that lists the note of rose, I think orange blossom there as well, but you're not going to be able to kind of like experience a phase where it's just rosy or where it's just orange blossomy, that sort of thing. Generally it becomes a sweet vanillin fragrance, almost vanilla cake like, gourmand-ish like, but this is a sort of gourmand that caters for both male and female. The original fragrance itself, I think, is targeted for men, but the gourmand nature of this fragrance, even the sweetness, is in check in such a way that you can't really call it like a foodie style of a gourmand, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to say it's like an adult tone gourmand with a vanillin tease that kind of reminds you of like a vanilla cake, but very soft, if you know what I mean. I mean soft, not in the scent itself, but safe enough to not make it a fragrance that you're going to get, say, compliments like you smell yummy, if you know what I mean. That is what this fragrance, the wrap up of this fragrance is like. It also has a cardamom in there, but the doses are all fused in such a way that they become just one presentation. And I like the fact that it vibes almost in the same way that this one vibes. I mean, the way it transitions from a slight aromaticness, a slight faint citrusiness, but not enough to call it fresh, and then gets into this spicy wrap up where it's going to be a little bit woody, a little bit earthy, a little bit aromatic, that sort of thing, but also with a wrap up of a sweetness, a vanilla sweetness that's careful enough not to push this to sticky, and then have somewhat of a faint, let's say, gourmand feel, themed wintry, if you will, winter fall. But of course, as well, being a fragrance that even if you overspray, you're most likely not going to choke yourself with. The woodiness is in check, the spiciness is in check. So this is the sort of fragrance that if you're an oversprayer, you could literally do 20 sprays, you wouldn't choke yourself out. So let me just leave it at that for this one versus the real thing. Okay, and then we get into liquid Brun. So the one question that a lot of you guys had was, to what extent what is doing what and which one is worth purchasing? Now, of course, it's going to be down to price, affordability, preference and stuff, but I'm going to tell you exactly how different they are and what I think of them. So liquid Brun comes in this packaging. This is not a new packaging from the house of French Avenue. They actually have a series of this, and I am one of the lucky ones to have almost the entire series. The box is very nice and presentable, and this is how we're going to spray this one on a different tester paper. Now, this one joined the family a week ago. I let it sit a bit. I played around with it as well, but I'm going to be honest, I do not have 100 experience as I do have with this. However, I do have enough to tell you what I think of. Now, this opens up with a bergamot tone, with a citrusy tone, a zingy feel, a lemongrass feel coming from the LME. And what I am not liking about this one at the moment is the fact that vibe kind of sticks around for a while. And the while I'm talking about here is even into 40 minutes, it's going to be lemongrass forward, a little bit zingy there, okay, before it transitions and then introduces this cinnamon and then introduces this vanilla bourbon, that sort of thing. So this kind of meanders a lot, though it ends up to this destination. It meanders a lot to an extent that if you're one of those people that are not patient, you walk in a store, you spray it, you might think, this is not it, because it kind of has this one opening where I was saying what I love about this is it's kind of like, you know, fused together. This one has a little bit of a split break there where you really will be able to smell this zingy lemongrass feel for a while, after which then it makes way to a semi-sweetness, a spiciness. The vanilla then gets introduced there, a little bit of the florals, and then it fuses as well to become one thing like this. As I was saying, that then you won't be able to separate the notes. But the thing I'm getting at the moment, unless it's because my bottle hasn't really set, and maybe because this one has set for a while, I don't know. So it's going to be something that I may have to come back and update you. But at the moment, I can say there is kind of like a break in there where you can feel that these fragrances are not, you know, from the same company, if you know what I mean, where this one is taking this direction and whatever. And this also is winter toned, fall toned, you know, in that regard, but of course has, again, the same thing that I was saying in this, that you can overspray it still won't choke you up. Now, when it comes to the three fragrances, guys, what I can say, of course, is yes, the two interpret this, right? Interpret the Althair. It's just how they get there. So you went in a store, you're not patient, you probably would think this one is not doing it. Get in your car, 45 minutes later to an hour, you're like, oh my God, what have I done? I should have purchased this fragrance because it's, you know, in the same vein as that. Now, this Outer Nature 2 behaves almost identical to what this one does. The fact that even this in itself has got like a meandering thing there before it gets into that vanilla cake thing. Not so much foodie gourmand, but vanilla cake, nice, that sort of thing, you know. So the magic of all three is going to be in the dry down. But when it comes to the Brun, you may have to be a little bit patient, but it gets there, you know, because even this one itself has got like a meandering thing, after which I remember spraying it in a store, and after a while I actually asked somebody what they were wearing because I couldn't connect the fact that it was the same fragrance that I had just sprayed. That's how it transitions, where it starts off in one direction and then ends up in another direction, but without it being obvious, as in, oh, now this is just lemongrass, if you know what I mean, like I was saying here. So it has one direction where it's kind of like almost fresh, almost aromatic, a little bit fruity and that, and then it goes into this maybe I would say 15-20 minutes later, that sort of thing. Three fragrances are working perfectly on my skin, but I'm going to eliminate this one because this one is a vial, so I can talk mostly about these two. These two fragrances are working fantastically on my skin as well as on the clothing. However, the three have got a lingering effect where they'll last till the next wash. They're not the sort of fragrances that you walk in a room and you turn heads, okay, but they're the sort of fragrances that in as much as as the projection is not beastly, you get to enjoy them because they rise there. And people around you will be able to tell that you're in a scent bubble that is beautiful. So these are not the sort of fragrances I would class under beast mode, but at the same time, these are fragrances that are lasting till the next wash, if you know what I mean. And as I said, the spiciness, the woodiness in these fragrances is not the sort that I would say, oh, be mindful of how many sprays. I can do 20 sprays on this, 5 sprays on this. It doesn't make a difference. You know, it's just vibes the same in a beautiful but careful, sweet, you know, gourmand adult way, gourmand in a unisex way. And, you know, to think that this was packaged in the masculine bottles, you know, it's just, I think it's also a little bit deceiving there to the ladies, because it then makes you think, oh, do I really need to purchase this more so that it didn't come in the feminine bottles? But this fragrance is perfectly unisex, you know, just like these ones that are smell-alikes to this Althair. So that is what I can say, guys, about these fragrances. No qualms. If this one changes, I'll let you know, because as I said, it's still new in my collection, so it may be a fragrance that just needs time. In terms of preference, I can say I am loving the Lattafa one more for now, but that could be biased, guys, based on the fact that this one has been in my collection for a while and this one was shaken about in a mail and just needs a little bit of some time to cool off. So I will probably get back to you in just maybe not a dedicated video like this, but just give you, you know, what I think about how it turned out. But you wouldn't be missing much. I mean, if you bought either or all of them, the magic is in the dry down. But you have to wait a little bit for this one more before it actually arrives to its destination. However, in the end, it ultimately becomes like that. CeeChronicles is my name. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me today. Let's meet in the comment section where we discuss more about fragrances. Remember to check out my playlist in case you want to watch more reviews about the other ones I did in this line and in this line. Also, turn on post notifications. That way you get to be notified anytime I upload a video. Like and share this one. And remember that smelling good is a form of good manners. Cheers.